before the DNC even fucking started, he gave a speech where he was praising the Obamas. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
He was praising the Obamas,
I find it hard to believe.
saying that he fucking respected them. And you know what they did in return? They went up there and fucking ripped him. And they didn't care that he got fucking shot. And that DNC was an abortion festival.
Jim, how are you doing?
You know, I've been just kind of stewing on this. They say 3 is a charm, so I'm going to tell this story one more time.
This is which story?
This is the Costa Mesa story I was talking about last show.
The Trader Joe's story?
Trader Joe's.
I've been waiting to hear this.
Okay, so let me reframe it again. All right, so I'm in line. There's this lady. She looks like she's maybe from like Central America. Very well put together, very attractive. She's sitting there and listening to the guy talk to her. He's like, oh, you're from L.A., and he's talking to her, and, you know, dweeby guy, hipster dude, because Costa Mesa, Trader Joe's is very L.A. hipster now, right? Yeah. So he's trying to talk Spanish to her, and she's, you know, trying to impress her, right? He's holding up the whole line. So I sit there and wait for all this bullshit while he's talking and talking. Finally, he gets her finished and out the door. And then I just, to make small talk, I say, how's it going tonight, or something like that. And he just looks at me coldly. And I wasn't trying to make a connection with the guy. I just wanted to prove to myself that this guy isn't normally talking to anybody. He was taking advantage of his position at Trader Joe's to talk to girls because he's a loser.
Is this a story that we didn't get to finish?
I just want to make it a point that the guy's a loser. He's just taking advantage because he's at the register. He's got a captive audience.
Trader Joe's. I think
a lot of losers
2 or 3 times.
There are a lot of losers there because all the employees left wingers.
Oh yeah,
they're still wearing masks over there.
But you call it Trader Joe's. It's not Trader. It's Trader.
I call it Trader. Yeah, Trader. Yeah. Trader. Yeah,
Trader.
That's smart. I like that. What are you guys doing? You good?
We're good.
Yeah.
So, how are you?
I'm good. You know, I was driving in, listening to some 70s and 80s music, and it made me realize that. I realize it all the time, but it makes me realize how much we've evolved and how the talent pool has just been watered down. And there is no talent anymore. Yeah. You compare the music then to now, you know, and the music now has no balls.
Yeah.
Has no balls, doesn't have any guts, you know.
There really is no comparison.
There's none. Yeah. I mean, you even take a young person and you show them, or you can show them even a music video from MTV in the 80s, a real rock band playing a song compared to now. And if you watch them, their jaw just drops, you know, just step aside and watch them. Everyone knows what's good when they see it. Mm-hmm. They just don't fucking know, you know? But I did hear too that the American Little League baseball team from Florida beat the Chinese. So that made me happy.
That's beautiful.
That made me fucking
USA.
Happy. USA, baby. Hey,
That's perfect.
Thank you.
Welcome back, Cookie.
You know, I wanted to, before we started tonight too, I wanted to say a couple thank yous. One, to our guy, Thomas.
Tommy.
Absolutely.
We call him Tommy to make him fit in as an Italian. Tommy.
Tommy.
Thomas has been great. He's really helped us improve the technical quality of our sit downs here, of our show, and he's behind the scenes. People don't see him, but he's helping us improve the show's quality every single week. So we really appreciate him. He took over for Hugo, who helped us launch it. Yeah. We appreciate him. He's back to doing what he really loves, which is his music. But he's very talented, guys, you know. But he will be back at some point to help us do other things. Awesome. But Tommy's at the helm now.
I enjoy how I found Tommy, because we've always known him, but like downtown Huntington Beach, I just meandered into this bar, and he sees me, and he's been watching the show. Yeah. And so Tommy's like, "Hey, I can do good. I can do good with your show. I can do better. I can do this. I can do that." He's a little buzzed, a little excited.
Yeah.
And I said, okay. I said, you want to meet with Tony? We're going to court in a few days. You show up in a suit, and he'll be impressed by you. If you show up for my court hearing in a suit, and you have all the time you need to
At
talk
what
to
point?
him.
At what point
He
did you
did.
realize that we already knew each other?
You told me he's worked with you in the past.
So Tommy was the guy who actually came in and filmed.
Chris Cuomo.
Yeah. So when I did the Chris Cuomo interview, and how the Chris Cuomo thing happened was, and I never told the story since we've been doing this. I get a call during the lockdowns. We did the whole thing where we required people who wanted to come in to prove they were unvaccinated. So
It was a
Chris Cuomo lost his fucking mind. We used to get requests to go on shows all the time to do interviews. So one day, sitting at the bar, standing over there, actually, one of the guys said, "Hey, have you seen this?" And it was a napkin, and it said, "The producer of Chris Cuomo's show on CNN wants to talk to you." And people were like, "Oh, of course you're not going to do that." I'm gonna fucking do it, and I'm going to do it because you have to invade enemy territory.
Yeah.
You can't just preach to the choir all the time. So I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm doing it. So I called there, and they said to me, well, you need to come up to see us. You need to come up interview here,
Which is where was here?
in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Their main offices are, I think the main studios are in Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
So I said, I'm not fucking driving up there. You're going to come down here. And they said, well, we don't really have the ability to send a remote, camera crew and somebody to interview you. I said, wait a second. You're fucking CNN. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
So he said, okay, we'll send a van down, a studio van with the studios in the van, and you can sit in the van. And I said, you
Yeah,
think I'm going to
that's not
fucking sit in your van? That's not going to fucking happen. You're going to send your crew inside. And they said, okay, we'll fucking do it. So they send the guys down, and it was funny because the camera crew showed up, said to me outside, they saw me walking in, they said, oh, Tony, yeah, you're Tony, yeah. They said, listen, we want you to know secretly that we agree with everything you're fucking doing. We agree with all of it. Just don't tell anybody. But what was cool was
everybody knows.
Yeah.
was my friend, the comedian Jim Brewer, had heard that I was going to do this interview.
Yep.
And he's experienced. So he sent me a video clip of him talking into the camera saying to me, Tony, listen to me, man. They're going to ambush you. You
Yeah.
got to have a camera crew filming you. You remember this, Tommy? You got to have your own camera crew filming you do the interview. And I'm like, why? And he said, because they're gonna ambush you. They're gonna cut you off. You want to show the raw footage.
Tony, listen. I just talked to Joe. If these guys are coming with cameras, you have to get friends, workers, everything. They must videotape with their phone. This way, if they try some editing nonsense, you have all the raw footage, all right? So if Chris Cuomo's come in and he does his spiel, because they're definitely, you're a major threat. They're coming to take you down. And I just travel worldwide. We got a lot to catch up on. If they're coming to do that, you have to have people videotaping on the phone so you have the raw footage. If they try some nonsense and they show the edited version, guess what? I show it to Rogan, I show it to all the people with the big pot, and then you got all the backup and exploits them. Protect yourself. Don't mess around. Protect yourself. They're going to come at you in ways you never knew. Protect yourself. Videotape everything. Every conversation. When their lights are on, your lights are on from behind. Call a friend, a brother, a sister, one of the vets. None of this, we can't videotape bullshit. Well, then you're not doing the interview. It's that simple. Protect yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. So Tommy shows up. He was standing, I remember, right here. Remember that? Right here. And I was sitting, I think, right here, and the place was packed.
Yeah.
Place was packed. It was loud, and if you watch the interview, it's hard for me to hear. I'm looking down. People are talking and screaming and yelling and having a good time, cheering me on, and which I appreciated. So when the interview ended, so basically what Jim Brewer said, your guys need to film you.
Yeah.
So to keep them honest. So as the interview ended,
Yeah, because they promised they weren't going to edit you,
they weren't going to edit me.
Did they?
but they did.
Well, what they do is they have a 7-second delay, so they can cut you off and you think you're still on. So at the end, he said some smart ass comments to me, called me a fucking idiot or
And
whatever.
then cut you off?
And then, well, I thought I was still on because he says, oh, you're an idiot or whatever he said to me. And I fired back, called him Fredo.
Yep.
I said, you're a fucking Fredo, whatever I said. and I think I'm still on arguing with the guy. Now I'm like, okay, gloves off. You're going to be an asshole. It's gloves off now.
Does everybody know what Fredo means, though?
Well, the funny thing about Fredo, and I'll get to that in a second. Fredo from The Godfather is the weak, dumb brother of the crew. So he's the weak link, right, in the chain. Anyway, so
well, that's because Chris was in the shadow of his big brother.
His
who
big
was
brother.
who was the governor.
Who
and
was
that's
the
why in
governor.
the interview I say, maybe this interview to put him down. I said, maybe this interview should really be between me and your brother, not between me and you. I'm pro freedom, anti-tyranny, okay? And, maybe the conversation should really be between me and your brother.
Yeah.
And that set him off. So he calls me a fucking idiot, and I fire back. And as I'm saying it, the camera crew is telling me that I'm cut off. And I said, did you get me say Fredo? He said, let me see, hold on 1 second. And he's on his earpiece, and I hear him talking to the guys back in LA or Atlanta. He's saying, is he cut off? Is he cut off? And they said, no, you weren't cut off. And then I said, did they get Fredo? And he said, hold on, let me ask him. Did you guys hear that? Did you guys catch him calling Chris Fredo? Which is funny that he's even saying that in front of me, you know? And he goes, you were cut off. And no, they didn't get it. And I said, well, I fucking got it. I fucking got it because Tommy was right here filming the whole thing.
Yeah.
Hey, Fredo, I'm done with you. Fredo, I'm done with you. Am I still on with this guy? Yeah, he's an idiot. What? Yeah. When did he cut me off? When did he cut me off? What's that?
They didn't cut you off. I've been told they didn't cut you off.
Did they hear me say the Fredo thing?
Did they did not make it. No.
Oh, see, I got it. And that and we put that out there, which was cool. But what was funny is before we did the interview, they have you on a pre-production conference call, and they put you with a producer, and I'm on with the producer, and we had a half an hour conversation, I think, and she was friendly and she was polite and she was nice, but when you watch the interview, you can see immediately he was out to get me, like from the start.
It reminds me of my federal public defenders. She's friendly, she's nice, says sweet, nice things, but you know what they're
and
doing.
She had to stick a knife in your back. But I also want to thank a woman named Lisa Bolden. She is the editor, and she runs a newspaper called the Patriot Free Press newspaper. Now, after the Chris Cuomo thing in 2021, they were founded in 2021. Shortly after that, I think they did their second edition newspaper. They did like a front page feature story on us.
I remember that.
It was a group picture. It was really
awesome.
nice. But I just want to mention her because she's a real deal. She works her ass off to make sure this newspaper gets out regularly, and she's got the digital version of it, and she has a print version of it. She had a lot of people that left early on because things just got too hard, but she kept it going. And she's actually, and I'll show, we'll show it during the show. We'll show a clip of it, but she actually did a recent a version of it where she mentioned the podcast, which I thought was really nice of her, just to talk about it. And she listens to it.
Yeah.
Which podcast?
Which podcast?
A sit down that we do here, I think.
Oh, okay.
Right. But
That's what we're doing.
It's a sit. Yes, yeah. So, yeah, that's what we always do. But
I was just hanging out.
Just hanging out. She so she did the I think it was 2 editions ago. She'll send us a hard copy, so we have them here.
That's very nice of her.
As souvenirs. But I thought that was nice for you. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, but you had a cool night last night. So last night I get a call that from a guy named Angelo. And Angelo is
he's a movie.
He's
movie
from Italy.
producer. Yeah, he's from Italy.
He's a movie producer from Italy. Lives in, I think, Burbank now, right?
He's in Glendale.
Same area. So he reaches out to me and somehow, and he says, "Hey Tony, I want to say hello. I want to come down and see you. I want to meet you." I said, sure, we could do it at some point. And then yesterday, out of the blue, he says to me, hey, Tony, I'm 10 minutes from your restaurant right now, and I'm with one of the actors from the Sopranos.
Yeah.
And I'm stopping in. I would love to see you, love to meet you.
Which one?
What happened was I said to him, well, you know what, I can't make it in, but a friend of mine can, Doug. Yeah. Doug's like the envoy. You send Doug as the envoy, as a representative.
Yes.
And there's nobody better than him as far as being
close
a host.
by. I live close by, so it's easy for me.
You literally live like 5 minutes away. So you met with these guys. So what happened?
It was great. These guys are really, really nice men. Yep. They're Angelo is from Italy. Yep. Didn't speak real good English, but I was able to communicate with him.
Yeah.
And he told me about this movie that they're making.
Okay.
And the other gentleman that was with him is actually in the movie. He plays the part. It's about Jesus' life.
Okay.
And he showed me some of the trailers, and it's beautiful.
So
it's amazing.
His friend that was in the Sopranos.
He was in the Sopranos, 5 episodes. He told me.
Okay. Only 5.
Yeah.
So he's more not a main character.
He wasn't a main character.
Do you remember the character name?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us about Angelo's movie about Jesus.
Well, tell me what this guy looked like.
Who, Angelo?
No, this character that you met from the Sopranos. What describe him?
So he was probably about, I don't know, I'd say maybe like 5'9", 5'10", dark hair, real Italian looking guy. He's from New York, grew up in Syracuse.
Looked like every other cast member in the Sopranos.
Yes. Both these guys are very Catholic. And
was he a big guy?
He wasn't real big, but he was,
So the movie,
maybe it's Furio.
So the movie, yeah, it could be him. So the movie about Jesus, is it a Catholic-based kind of film?
Yes.
And you said you saw
trailers
of
it.
The trailer. How'd it look?
Looked beautiful. It was amazing. The photography was amazing. They're not done with the movie, by the way, either. They've only got maybe, I'm not sure how much, but they still need to raise. It's all funded. They're self-funding, raising money to make the movie.
Do they have a title for the movie yet?
I think you did. I don't remember
probably
the title of it.
Title anyway.
Yeah.
It's probably not the final title. Well, he's going to come down again.
Yeah.
And meet us. So.
Yeah. So the other guy that was actually in this was on the Sopranos. He played the part of Judas.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. And I saw a little bit about him, and he was really good. So the whole thing was amazing. We had a nice evening.
There are so many fucking people that I would nominate to play Judas.
It's true.
I'm gonna laugh at Will.
Will shows up.
There's so many fucking Judas. There's so many Judases. No, yeah. Will is definitely not.
No, I know. I'm teasing.
But there are so many fucking Judases. There's actually Judas, and I actually started a website. Hey Doug, Will, you're gonna make us a drink, right?
If you want,
yeah. I'll have.
I'm thirsty for it.
I was thinking tonight I would try the Irishman. Can you do that?
I can do Irishman.
It's not St. Patty's Day.
Yeah, it's on the list.
I'll explain why.
Yeah.
Irishman's easy.
Tell us about the Irishman.
Start with bitters, both orange, and go stir up bitters.
Take your time, Will.
Then you're doing Fernet.
Fernet Branca.
Fernet Branca, yeah. Fernet's interesting. So it's actually an Amaro. It's like the original Amaro.
Okay.
It's got a good looking label. I'll tell you that. It's the guy who invented he invented Italian poster art.
Okay.
He designed it. He's kind of the father of Italian poster art. He designed the label back in like 18.
On that bottle?
Like that. Yeah, on all of them.
So that's like graffiti.
That's their logo. It's got it's got a really classic look to it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's Fernet. It's an Amaro. They do it with bartender's handshake with it. So back in the day, the bartenders were switching shifts.
Yep.
They, one bartender would have one shot of that, the other one would have the other one, kind of to say the passing of the torch type of thing.
Mm-hmm. So what are you putting in there now?
This is vermouth, sweet vermouth, fortified wine. You got to get the vermouth from Turin. That's where it originates in Italy. All vermouth, but in particular.
Beautiful. What do you got there?
And this is Glendalough Double Barrel Irish Whiskey. It's a good whiskey.
Double Barrel Irish Whiskey.
It's a Double Barrel Irish Whiskey. It's kind of a more mild whiskey. It's got a citrusy. It's almost a citrusy whiskey.
Okay.
Kind of light. Kind of a vanilla finish, but it's a lighter whiskey.
Yeah.
do some of that. Doug, what do you want to do?
I think I'm gonna have a draft beer.
You want a draft beer? Pepperoni?
No, Peroni's good.
So, the Irishman. The reason people might probably wonder why the fuck do you have an Irishman
Italian
cocktail in an Italian fucking restaurant? Well, the reason why is because when we created this drink, the movie The Irishman had just come out, which is really an Italian film.
Yeah.
So The Irishman, if you watch it, it's the last epic, probably Martin Scorsese film. Scorsese did Goodfellas, he did Taxi Driver, did Casino, great films. The Irishman is about. It focuses on the story of Jimmy Hoffa, who was president of the International Teamsters Union. It's a fucking beautiful drink. And Jimmy Hoffa was bought and sold by the mob.
Yep.
And when he got too big for his britches, hey, he fucking disappeared.
Yep.
Where'd he go? I don't know. But I remember as a kid, I remember they always said he was in the end zone of the New York Giants football
I've
field.
heard that.
You know? So I remember as a kid watching Giants games. You know, if the Giants were on TV and I watched the fucking game, whenever I'd see guys score a touchdown and spike it, I always wonder if he was spiking it on his head, you know, like he was right underneath the end zone. They never found his body.
They don't know what happened to him.
They don't know what happened to him. But the movie is really, really good, but it's a little too fucking long, I think.
It's like
Did you see it?
3 hours, I think.
You didn't see it. Waiting for your beer.
Remember, we went to see the premiere at a real Hollywood theater.
We did.
Remember?
And we went across the street and we had Italian food first.
Yeah.
Went across the street. We were in a rush. We said, we're in a fucking rush. What can we eat really fast? We want to make it back in the theater in time.
Yeah.
They said, we can do lasagna for you really quick. We had a bunch of lasagna went in.
And it wasn't as good as the lasagna we have here.
No. Well, fuck no. You want to say something, Kim?
Thank you.
I think of something.
Thanks.
You ever notice when Will's making a drink, he kind of splashes it like cologne on him?
Yeah, he sort of like slams the bottles down when he's making drinks. Did you notice that too?
It's usually a lot louder.
You can smell it.
It's usually a lot louder in here.
No, you always. Yeah, it's true.
I think he wants to walk away smelling like alcohol.
Yeah, splashing everywhere.
I can smell the aroma of your drink there.
It's beautiful, man.
Oh, that's a strong drink.
Yeah.
It's exactly what I need tonight. So you were talking about the Catholic film.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
The
know.
Life of Jesus, it was.
Yeah, I don't know if you know, but and Kim, I don't know if you're aware of this too, but veils, women wearing veils in Catholic Church is making a big comeback.
Yeah.
Trad Catholic, as they call it. Trad Catholic.
Well, but yeah, I guess you can say that, but I
No,
think
it's a movement. It's been going on for a few years.
it's a movement, but I don't think it's as try hard as that.
No, they're not trying hard. You know what it is people are yearning to go back
Yes.
to like
That's why.
what was happening before all this crazy wokeness and
Yeah.
porn and women's liberation and dating apps or whatever,
Yes.
Grindr or Tinder, whatever they're doing, right?
Yes.
They want to get away from that. They want some stability.
Women, I think, women in the Catholic Church, at least, I think they feel like it's more, it's a way to maximize reverence for God when you're in church, and I think it makes them feel. It takes them back in time, like you said. It makes them feel like. I think young people now, especially, they want an opportunity to go to church where it feels more solemn and reverent, where they're not wearing fucking jeans and they're actually kneeling for communion.
Yeah.
And the priest is putting the host in their mouth as opposed to in the palm of their hand, because it all goes back to the Latin Mass, and the Latin Mass was such a rite of passage for so many Catholics for so long. And then Vatican II came along in the 1960s, and like everything else, my mother always said the 1960s and the hippies and the Beatles especially fucking ruined everything. They ruined everything. She said everything changed. And she's right, because Vatican II liberalized everything. I remember as a kid going to an Italian church in Washington, D.C. called Holy Rosary Roman Catholic Italian Church. And I remember when I moved to California many years after that, I remember how when you went to church, even Catholic churches, they felt little rock and roll.
Yeah.
Like you would have a guy playing fucking guitar, a little rock band. You know, people were wearing shorts and sandals, and no one dressed up anymore. And I think there's a longing for that now.
Yeah.
And as far as veils go, it's biblical.
Yeah.
Saint Paul said to show modesty. Said women must show modesty. You know.
I've been seeing it for like, actually, when I think about it, I encountered this kind of thing about 7 years ago online, talking with people about it and whatnot. So, I mean, yeah, everybody's yearning for something more stable.
Yeah.
Especially in crazy times.
The Catholic traditions are really amazing if you really, understand what's going on. So, and we had that opportunity at your mom's funeral for Father Chabelle from the Abbey. I remember when he was
St.
doing
Michael's
the Mass.
Abbey, yep.
St. Michael's Abbey. It's here in Orange County. It's an amazing church, and it's more traditional. But he went and explained everything.
Everything he did.
The movement.
That service was happening in front of my eyes. I remember how it felt. It felt like a service for royalty.
Yeah.
It was so formal. It was so beautiful. I remember even when I said to the priest, there's a song that my mom really liked. Can you play it? He said, nope.
That's not part of it.
And you know what? I love that because he wanted to remain true to the tradition.
Yeah.
He wanted to remain true to the rules and the laws of the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
He said, "You're not playing that here."
Yeah.
And I said, "You know what? I'm glad to hear you say it."
We
Because
talked
that's
about that
true.
last night when those two gentlemen were here. They mentioned that traditions and everything had a purpose.
Yeah.
There's nothing that's done by random. It's all
Are you hungry?
Yeah,
celebrated.
you guys are hungry, yeah?
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
I was thinking we could try and show the people that are interested in joining us right now a little bit of sausage Alfredo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All three of you?
That sounds awesome.
You
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah,
got
just
it?
bring out a bowl. We'll share it like we always do.
You got it.
We're just sampling it. So yeah, all that shit started in the 60s.
Yeah.
And so-called Pope Francis, and fuck him, fuck Pope Francis, because he's not the real Pope. He's not a real fucking Pope. That guy is so left-wing and woke, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
Am I right?
There's nobody, as far as I can remember, there's nobody like John Paul. So
John Paul, I'm going back, even Pope Benedict.
yeah. Benedict
Did
was
you?
good.
I know you're not practicing Catholic anymore, but do you follow any of this stuff?
I follow. Yeah, I grew up in it, so I know what's going on.
Yeah, being an Italian, and I always try to bring Kim back into the Catholic Church. I say, man, you can't be Italian and not be Catholic.
Yeah.
And I tell people this too. If you pull your phone out, if you have an Apple phone, I don't have an Apple phone, but if you have an iPhone, and you ask your iPhone to tell me the founder of all the different churches, from the Mormon Church, the Baptist Church, the Anglican Church, to the Protestant Church, to all the churches, they will give you different names, and the names will be just men.
Yeah.
Just fucking men. But when you ask it, who is the founder of the Catholic Church? It says what?
Well, Jesus.
It says
obviously.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's the only one that has direct lineage from the first pope, which is Peter, all the way to the current pope, even though he's an awful person.
Yeah.
He's just a man. He's just a man. So you can't judge the church by the man that's currently in charge. He's just a man. We'll get him out of the way soon.
So Peter's name was Simon, right?
Okay.
And he took on the name Peter, which means rock.
On this rock you'll build my church.
That's it.
The Catholic Church.
That's where it all started.
Cheers. Cheers to that.
Cheers to the Catholic Church.
Cheers to that. So, but when you think about all this woke shit, when you think about,
You didn't drink,
I did.
did you?
You didn't see me here. This stuff's strong too. Let me tell you, it's a strong fucking drink. And I'm a lightweight.
You made your
smell it.
bed.
Yeah.
Now
You
you got to
can smell
lie.
it.
to
I'm a
Tony.
lightweight.
You
People
can
don't
smell
understand.
it.
Even though I'm a big guy, over 6'2", 255 pounds, whatever I am.
You're willing to admit that on camera. Huh?
One drink, and one sip of red wine, and I can feel the buzz.
Because you're not a habitual drinker.
I got that from my mom. So she was a lightweight. She barely drank at all. She would not even. She would take a tiny sip and go, "Come on, Mom, drink. Just try the wine." And she would barely just dip her lips into the cup, just to wet her lips, and that was it. She didn't want it. My father, though, can just pound, and he's like totally normal. You know, so I didn't.
He loved wine too.
He would say,
"Was red wine his thing?"
Red wine, and he would say to me, "Well, no, he drank cocktails too," but he would say to me, as a kid at the table, as a little kid, they would pour red wine in the glass, and they would add a little Coke, and we would drink it.
Yeah.
And
I saw that in Italy. Their little baby with a sippy cup.
yeah,
They put a little bit of
wine.
little splash of red
I
wine
drank it all the time.
in the baby's
Right,
sippy cup with
yeah.
water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whenever he would see me look buzzed, he would say, "Man, what kind of Italian are you? You suck." Yeah. So.
Oh man.
Cheers. So, but this whole woke thing started in America. When I think about it, I thought about this last week. All the woke shit that's happening, and we'll get to the fucking DNC. I know everybody wants to hear about that.
Yeah.
RFK. Ooh, you know how important that is. We'll get to that shit in a minute. But this woke shit in America started with a slap. With a slap.
The slap.
Look at me strange.
Slap on the ass or what?
The slap.
A slap.
The slap heard around the world.
It was a slap heard around the world. 1940s.
Okay.
A slap given by a hero of mine, General Patton.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I know where you're
General
going.
Patton was a badass.
Yeah.
General Patton was almost like a reincarnated, if you even believe in that. Like if that's even true,
well,
if that's real,
he believed in it
he believed in it.
for sure.
He believed in it. He came from a long line of military heroes. And he had these visions of grandeur. Like he thought that he was put on this planet to be a hero. And he carried himself like that, right? He carried him. He would walk around with that beautiful pistol.
Two actually.
Two of them. Yeah.
holsters.
Yeah.
And what was the handle?
He would ride around on a white horse.
Yeah. They were ivory.
Ivory handles.
Yeah.
Grips.
Yeah.
He felt that if you're going to lead men, you have to look a certain way. And, you know, a lot of people don't understand that he was aristocratic.
Mhm.
Like when all these guys were from the Midwest, Okie from Muskogee, whatever, he was,
like Bradley.
He was educated.
Yeah.
He was refined. He was a Renaissance man. And his biggest fear was, because he came from a long line of heroes, his fear was that when he was on the battlefield, maybe he would be afraid. And he wanted to overcome that. And that was his biggest fear, was that he would be afraid. Right? So instead, when he was in battle, he would force himself to be on the front lines to prove to himself that he could do it.
They got a saying for that. It's called fake it till you make it.
Hey, you know what? Yeah, listen.
Yeah.
You're a hero when you're afraid and you do something, right?
You face it.
When you face it and you're afraid, it's
You
one
try.
thing to be. It's one thing to be fearless and stupid. It's another thing to be fearless and scared and still overcome your fear and do what needs to be done. That makes you a hero. So, this man, no one loved his troops more than him.
Yeah.
In fact, he would go on the battlefield, and when the battle was over, he would go to the nursing tents, to the medical tents. Oh my God! Let's take a break here. Try some food.
Look at that. Oh,
Sausage Alfredo. I got a great story about
We
sausage
got a scoop
Alfredo.
and spoon or what? We're just going to use forks.
Can you bring us a big spoon?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll bring us a big spoon. My God. How good does that look?
Yeah, he's one of my favorite characters too, Patton.
Well, we're going to focus on him. Tell us what's in the sausage Alfredo, Will.
Well, sausage Alfredo, it's penne pasta. You got your Alfredo, mushrooms, sun-dried tomatoes. We do mild sausage in there. Rose love cooking with those sun-dried tomatoes. So the sun-drieds, it's an Alfredo, but it actually darkens a little bit because those sun-drieds are in there. Gives it just kind of an extra layer.
I'll
I
go
think
back.
so.
Yeah, I'll go back to.
Give your
Go
plate.
ahead.
Here, I'll
I got a
put this
funny
in.
story.
Take this one.
I got a funny story about the sausage Alfredo. You're gonna love this. So we'll go back to Patton in a minute, which is important.
Yeah.
So when my mother had her restaurant for 18 years, right, and I built this restaurant for her in 2017.
Yeah, she was at a different location here in Huntington Beach.
Different
That's good.
location.
Thank you.
Yeah, the whole story. She fell ill.
You want to eat cheese on yours, Doug?
Yeah. I was
Say
going to
when.
give that one to Tony, but
Okay.
that's all right.
Thanks, Will.
You got it? You guys need anything else?
I think we're good.
It smells awesome. Will, by the way.
Thanks, Will. Good job, man.
Will's a man
So-
of many talents.
He is.
Bon appetito.
So my mother, she had a restaurant for a long, long time. Before, yeah, right there, Doug. So before I opened this place for her, like I said, as a gift, it was her gift, tribute to her. The old restaurant I went to one time, I didn't go there a lot. I stayed out of her way. I wasn't part of it, you know. So, small little place, always crowded, always a long wait. I stayed away. But one time I went in, and this sausage Alfredo was named something else on the menu.
Interesting.
Yeah. She named it after a guy. I forget
Oh,
A customer.
I don't want to fucking say it.
You
He's a
can't say the
customer,
name.
right? A customer.
Some fucking guy.
He wasn't just some guy. He came in the
He was
restaurant.
a customer.
All right.
Yeah. I don't want to say his name. So this fucking guy, she names it after him, right? Because he loved it so much that she's like, I'll be nice, I'll name it after him. My mom was so giving, sacrificing. Right? She always gave herself. She always gave of herself to everybody. So, I'm like, who's this fucking Lou guy, right? So I go in there one day, and I'm eating.
You weren't going to say his name, and you just said his name.
Did I say his name?
That's
Okay.
cat's out of the bag.
Well, we'll cut that out. So I'm in there. Guys fucking in there, and I'm watching them. And I'm watching. So this guy supposedly has money. You know, he's a small fish, right? But he's a big fish in a small pond.
Yeah.
Right. So he the rumor is that he's got money, right? He's in oil. So he always brings these young girls in there, show off, like, hey, they all know me here. It's a little place. And I got my name on the menu. Big deal. So I'm watching this guy. And I'm watching him, and my concern is my mother.
Mm-hmm.
Always protecting her. I want to see people respect her. And I'm watching him. I'm going, this fucking guy is not all that respectful of her. And he said hi to me too, and it was okay. But the guy is not. He's not good to my mother. He's not good enough to her, right? So I'm watching him, and I'm like, this guy thinks he's something special. And I just didn't like the way it felt. You got a little cheese on you.
I still do.
So I'm like, fuck that guy.
I'm enjoying
right?
the
I'm like,
meal.
I'm not gonna forget him. And you know me, I take names, right? I keep a list. So I'm like, fuck that guy, right? At that point, I didn't know I was gonna open a restaurant for my mom. Did not know, but I don't forget people like him. So I opened the restaurant here, and as I'm doing the menu, I see his name on it. And I'm like, that fucking name's coming off. That name's coming off, and shit's gonna change here. Because my mother used to bend over backwards for people. She would have special padding in the back for people for their chairs. She would set aside certain wines in the cooler. People wanted a certain wine, it wasn't even on the menu. She'd buy it for them.
Yeah.
She went out of her way for everybody. And you learn real quick who really appreciates it and who's loyal to you. So I had a list going. This guy's not loyal. That guy's not. This woman's not loyal. Check. XXX. So opening night happens here, and I tell my mom, I just want you to know that Lou is apparently showing up. And I said, but his fucking name is off the menu. Oh, Tony, she was always worried about what I was doing. Oh, Tony, my gosh. You're going to cause problems. You're going to cause problems for me. I said, Mom, just trust me. I have your back. It's out of respect for you. Fuck him. His name's coming off the menu. That's it. So the place is packed. And I said when we opened up, I told people, it was a hint. I said, when you see the chow light go on outside, and when you see, we did a post on Twitter at the time where it was just stirring the sauce. That was our little hint that we're opening.
And just for clarification, it's
Yeah.
chow, not as in like come and eat, get your chow. It's the Italian word chow.
Chow.
Yeah.
C-I-A-O. Chow.
Hello,
Ciao
goodbye.
bello.
Hello, goodbye.
Yeah.
So we stir the sauce. Word gets out. Next thing you know, opening night here. It was like a movie premiere. The place was packed.
Yeah.
The parking lot was full of people. The people in the window, you couldn't even see outside the window. There's so many people with their faces pressed in, wanting to get in. I know this guy's showing up. Go ahead.
Well, your mom had a lot of people in the community that adored her.
That loved her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she was closed for a couple of years, and they were all anxious for the
8
food,
months.
weren't they?
No.
Was it
Well, it was a year.
a year? Yeah.
Almost a year.
They missed the food.
So I'm watching. I'm sitting back, watching people walk in. I'm waiting for him to walk in. I'm like, there he fucking is. Brings in a young girl. I'm like, I can't wait to see this because this fucking guy is bringing this girl in, bragging all week about how wait till I take you to this place, grand opening.
Oh, thanks.
Wait till I take you to this grand opening. You're going to see my name on the menu.
Instead of his.
So I watch this fucking guy walk in. He walks by,
Thank you.
sits at that table right over there, and I'm watching him open the fucking menu book, and he's flipping, and he's going, wait a minute, because
You're not just watching, you're relishing. I know
you,
you.
because
I know you, Tony.
Because he built it up like I'm on the menu, and he's flipping it. Holy fuck! You see him sweating, like, oh my god, my name's not on there anymore. And he came up to me afterwards. He said a few words, and I just said basically, you didn't respect my mother enough. Go fuck yourself.
Crazy.
And that was it. But you know what's funny? Was that my mother always said, Tony, because she saw me throw people out left and right. And I threw them out because I was filtering through the people that didn't really honor her properly. So she would say to me, Tony, you're not going to be happy till you empty the restaurant. Till you throw out every single person. She would laugh. But she supported me every step of the way. God, I miss her.
I miss her too.
I miss her so much. So this is a sausage Alfredo right here.
Your mom was
So
so enjoyable to be around, Tony.
She was, man. But anyway, going back to Patton, I want to go back to Patton because I don't want to lose a train of thought.
Hitler knew that Patton was the Allies' most. I think he said he was. He was the most attacking general that they had of all the Allies.
He was the adversary he had to worry about the most.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
And Patton, as I was saying, would go to every bedside of his soul. He loved his soldiers. He loved his men. And I say that here too. Like, if you're part of my crew, if you're part of my team, you're part of my fucking team. There's nothing I won't do for you. Like, I will go to battle for you. I will go through a brick wall for you. It doesn't matter. You're my guy. The minute you leave us, especially if you leave on good, if you leave on bad terms, you're not welcome back here.
Yeah.
But if you leave respectfully, it's fine. But once you leave, you lose that privilege. So he would go visit his men every chance he had. He would get on his hands and knees and speak to them as they lay in their beds. He'd pin medals on them.
Yeah. He
would thank them. But when he came across men, which he did in Sicily, 2 men actually, that said, he said, "What's wrong with you? Why are you here?" "I'm here because I can't take it anymore. I can't take the battle."
Yeah.
He pulled out his gloves. He pulled off his gloves and slapped them. One guy pissed him off so much he pulled out his gun.
He's gonna shoot him.
I said, I'll fucking shoot you for desertion, right? Because he loved his men that were on the front line so much that he detested the men that would bail out. And I know how that feels.
Yeah.
So, so we slapped him around a little bit. Anyway,
And the Germans really feared him.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So when I talk about being woke, going back that far back, he got in trouble, and the generals Eisenhower and Bradley reprimanded him, but they did it quietly, and they told the American press, keep it quiet.
Yeah.
Right. We want this to be quiet. No one needs to know about this. Which, who fucking cares? But nobody needs to hear about this.
But it got out.
Well, I'll tell you how it got out. By a fucking traitor. So, but what they did was they removed him. Think about that, because he slapped a soldier. They removed him from command, and they asked him to publicly apologize to these fucking scumbags. And when he was about to apologize, as he got close to saying it in a speech in front of his soldiers, you could hear the soldiers say, "Don't do it. Don't do it." They didn't want to hear him do it because they revered him. He walked off the stage when he was giving that speech in tears. He was emotional. But they kept it quiet. And it was funny because when the enemies heard about it, when the Germans heard about it, even the Russians heard about it, they're like, the problem is what exactly?
Yeah.
Like, you're reprimanding this man for what?
Well, they were like shooting people.
Yeah.
Both the Russians and the Germans.
Exactly. And this is my point.
That's woke.
This is why we project this weakness dating back to now. So he then, so what happens was they try to keep it quiet until this man named Drew Pearson, who was a reporter, takes one fucking scumbag, one traitor, and he just said, you know what? It's a cover-up. I'm going to write about it. And he plastered it everywhere. And that, for me,
Yeah.
I'm sure it dates back even further back than that. But for me, officially, the woke movement started then.
I agree with you.
Well, you know, Tony, probably everybody has some dirt on them, especially, the other generals. But they get protected. So it sounds to me like Patton was being targeted because he was a gung-ho kind of guy,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
he was like, no nonsense. He went hard.
Mm-hmm.
And, there were certain people that probably didn't like that because they're like, you know what, we got to take him down a peg or two probably.
Yeah.
Because, that guy, he did things his way.
He did.
I read that Bradley didn't like him from the beginning. So
It was jealousy.
yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm sure of that.
Yeah, it was jealousy. So what's happening with you? You have a date coming up.
Court, yeah. I got,
It's a big one.
well, yeah, in about 30 hours, I'm going to be going before the federal judge. Probably by the time this show's aired, it's already going to happen. But we'll know if the judge is going to let me substitute out my federal public defender and get a real attorney because I've had a conflict with the federal public defender's office, as we probably addressed in past episodes, with me and Bo and whatnot.
Yep.
So
His J6 case.
my J6 case, my federal case. And the thing is this.
Who's your judge?
Oh, he's a nice guy. I don't want to say his name. But the prosecutor's saying, his response to my federal public defender currently, who's made a motion because she had to remove herself from the cases. I'm fine with that, but then he shouldn't have any legal representation.
Yeah.
So, the audacity that they want me to go to trial in D.C. with no attorney because I don't want to take the attorneys that are being provided to me that aren't giving me discovery.
Yeah.
Discovery is very important to your defense. You need to be able to see it. Everything hinges on discovery, whether you would take a deal or how you fight your case. And, I'm not inclined to take a deal, but I keep telling them because they keep offering me deals. I say, well, theoretically, how can I know if this is a good deal for me until I've seen the evidence against me?
Yeah.
I can't make an informed decision.
Sure.
So that's why I got my my lawyer glasses on because I'm getting in that mode. I'm gonna get grubby and greedy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be my own lawyer. I gotta get that
You're
that greedy kind of
hey.
get them kind of thing. I'm just trying to harness that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you out lawyer most lawyers, so
because they don't got any fight in them.
So they don't have any fight. So
they're not
So
fighting.
the glasses fit, but
Well, aren't defense attorneys supposed to defend you? It seems like they're defending the
government.
The government.
Well, that's who pays them. So that that's who.
That's a
working
conflict right there.
There is conflict.
So the court date you have, we're gonna have it here. It's a court date we're gonna have here at the restaurant.
And we'll know. We'll know if the judge does the right thing.
We're gonna do it remotely. People will be here actually watching it. An actual federal J6 case hearing here at the restaurant. Guys show up. We show up 8 o'clock in the morning. We watch you in action
on Wednesday. This coming Wednesday.
And it's important because
it's less than,
because they're trying to rush you into trial right now, fearing that maybe Trump gets elected, right? So they're fearing that. They're trying to rush you to trial to try to convict you before he gets elected.
Well, Doug can testify to this. We sat here about 3 weeks ago at that corner table with my federal public defenders, and they told him and me right there. They said, well, the government wants to take as many J6ers to trial before the election as possible. And then literally 10, 15 minutes later, they're like, so how can we take you to trial before, by October 28th?
Yeah.
It's like, look, I can make the connection. You just said that's what the government wants.
Exactly.
Now you're telling me that's what you want.
Yeah.
So, but that's not the issue that my major issue with the government provided court-appointed attorneys is they haven't given me discovery, and they're required to. They've given me less than 10 hours of video to watch, and they admit there's 10,000 hours. And we know from Tucker there's 40,000 hours.
Yeah.
So if they don't provide me due process, I'm going to keep making that point. They got you kind of like in a position where they don't let you talk to the court or get anything in the record because you got to rely on these people, these traitors, to say anything in your defense. And if they don't say it, it's as if you didn't say it.
Yeah.
And so I won't have any defense or any appealable issues because they won't put anything into the record.
And now it's 3 years since the events, right? January 6th, 3 years?
Yeah, it's
3 fucking years.
almost 3
And
years.
you're still walking around. Yeah, you have an ankle monitor on.
God is good.
But nobody has fucking fought harder. Nobody has fought.
Don't give away too much game now.
No, we won't get too much game. But
Nobody
has. Nobody's held the standard higher for fighting more than you of all J6s that I know.
You just got to know what to ask.
Because if they did, they wouldn't be in prison.
Right.
So the way I look at it is this: they think that I'm being like a pain in the neck for asking for discovery. This was one of the most historic events in our nation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
One of the most historic events in my lifetime. I got caught up in it. I have a right to see what they have as evidence. I have a right. And they act like, well, you don't need to see it. Well, no, I do, because I need due process. Yeah. And that's my fundamental issue.
You don't say, oh, my court date is when? I'll be there. No. You're battling to the fucking end.
Because it's all about you got to follow the right rules. And if you don't hold them to it, no one's going to hold them to it.
Exactly.
And here's the thing. I sit there and I fight because I think that I have a right to see what these videos show.
Yeah.
I want to see it.
Yeah.
I want to see
and
what
you're
they
not trusting some fucking traitor lawyer. A lot of this you're leading yourself, and if somebody doesn't meet the standard when you have a public defender, you basically, I think what happens is they fire themselves.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
you got to make it difficult on them.
Okay, you say Doug.
You were there at the event, so you know what happened. The videos.
The event.
January 6th, obviously.
I don't really remember too clear. I got to refresh my memory.
No, but the videos can be interpreted in different ways. You were there, when you watch the video, you know what happened.
Maybe I just want to relive it. I want to see the video.
Of course, you want to see it.
Here's the thing, Tony.
It was glorious in many ways. Glorious.
Here's the thing, Tony. There's lots of things. There's lots of things I've been chomping at the bit to bring in the record. I could bring in the record how they sent 5 goons after me, literally a few days after I got out of custody, to try and entrap me and get me into a fight, so that they could get me back into custody.
Yep.
I'm not going to talk about that.
No,
but that's cheating. What they did. The government. I could talk about how my brake lines were cut just a month ago.
Yeah, they were.
Right before they were offering me a deal.
Yeah.
Right before they were offering me a deal.
They're trying to get you.
I'm not going to talk about that. I could talk about how when my attorneys came here 3 weeks ago, what were they doing? They're calling me with wake-up calls at 5:45 a.m. and 6 a.m. to wake me up, right? Even though I got a meeting, I got to be in presence of mind. I'm not going to talk about that. I'd like to.
Yeah,
I'll talk about it with you guys.
Yeah.
I could talk. I mean, I could
And
talk.
you have your fucking state case too. And I'm thinking today, I hear about
it's all at the same time.
Yeah.
They're
Speaking
all
about
overlapping.
woke, you gonna eat the rest of that? Good, huh?
You want more?
No, you have it. It's good. Speaking about woke,
Yeah.
did you hear in California they now have it's called parole light, where they're administering this new parole program, where if you're over 50 and you've served 20 years of your sentence already, no matter how fucking violent you are,
Like murder?
they let you are eligible for parole. There's a guy right now that committed such vile acts against his best friend's 5-year-old daughter that the judge gave him 350 fucking years. And now he's eligible for parole. And this is why
Parole light.
Parole light. Yeah, this is why the death penalty is so important.
Yeah.
I mean, are you sure that it's not like light, like as in when he gets out, they're going to light him on fire?
Well, that's what I was going to get to. Yeah, exactly. That's what I wish for. You think about this. These fucking guys, so capital punishment, they said to everybody, you know what? It's a little harsh. Life imprisonment is good enough. But now, look what's happened. You give
Now
up
they're
an
getting
inch,
out.
look what happens. So what they need to do is they need to go back to capital punishment again, and like they give them a speedy trial, give them speedy execution.
Yeah.
Meaning they get fucking convicted, right? Then they walk in the back fucking lot. There's a firing squad waiting for you, or an electric chair, and you're fucking done. They kill you, and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
And the parents of these children that are getting victimized need to be invited to every one of them.
Yes.
I mean, if you want to burn them, you can burn them. That's fine.
That's how my dad used to talk.
So yeah, I know people are waiting to hear about what we think about RFK and the DNC. Are you excited about it?
I am.
You
Can't
are?
wait to hear.
You excited about what?
Well, you know what I say about Kennedys, right?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You never vote for a Kennedy or anyone that's been married to a Kennedy.
You know,
You just can't trust them. You just
I
can't.
mean, the most enjoyment I get out of it is not that he's going to give Trump a little bump of, like maybe 5%, whatever. But I like seeing that his wife does not support him on this, and she's pissed. She's mad. I don't know if you caught that.
whose wife is mad?
RFK's
Jewish
wife is
wife.
not happy.
Plus
Yeah.
this whole family.
Well,
they're
his fucking wife
His
was
sister, everybody.
his
They're
fucking
all-
wife was the one who, when he had an event at his house during the lockdowns, he was supposedly against the vaccine.
Yeah.
She was the one that added on to the invitation
Yeah.
that you had to prove you were vaccinated to get into the party. He
How-
fucking knew
A
about
house
it.
divided
He had to know
cannot
about it.
stand.
That's
I
right.
mean, say what you want about him, but the guy, you know what? He is physically yoked. He's bench pressing at 70, right? He's 70.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know.
I don't think really he fits the mold of a shit lib so much as like the average run of the mill Democrat.
Yeah.
I don't know. Muscles don't cover it up. I don't think
Don't cover up what?
they don't. I mean, I think he's still a shit lib.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
on a
think
lot
he
of
is.
things. He wants reparations.
Listen,
He wants reparations to.
he ran against Trump. If he loved Trump so much, he wouldn't have ran against him. He would have supported him from fucking day one. That's what you call loyalty.
I mean, I don't think he
Yeah.
really loved Trump. He just hates what the Democrat Party's become.
Okay. The problem is that for me, I'm sure they're hoping that we talk about how happy we are about RFK. But you know what?
Well, but who's happy about him?
I think a lot of people. I mean, if you listen to the fucking mainstream people that talk about it, they're fucking fired up about it.
He's taken his name off the I guess the battleground states.
Yeah.
But he's staying on the other states, the non-battleground states. He's not suspending his campaign.
I'm not
from
happy
those.
about it.
Well, I'm not either.
I'm not happy about it at all because I think
he
that
thinks he's going to become president.
if
RFK thinks when?
well, Trump
He thinks if he,
Trump promised him. Trump tried to do a deal with him where he invited him to be his VP before J.D. Vance.
Are you sure about that?
That's what
I
RFK
hadn't
is
heard
saying.
Hmm.
So if
I hadn't
RFK is saying it and Trump's not disputing it, maybe it's fucking true. But you know what? For me, listen, if we speak out against it, some people that support Trump may be upset about it, but you know what? We ride in our own fucking lane.
That's right.
And like they say, when you ride in your own fucking lane, when you're in your own lane, there's no traffic. And that's a positive.
Well, I got to say something, too. You know what? It's a pussy that can't take criticism. And here's the thing. The left, these Democrats, the woke, they're pussies. They can't fucking take criticism. But what I'll say is this, and this is biblical, is that it says in the Bible, God chastens the son that he loves. Chastens, like, kind of spanks, you know?
Yeah.
Gives him a hard time. You know that when we complain about what Trump's doing wrong, it's not because we say, and I hate him and I want him dead or gone or whatever, and I want to see him again. It's because we want him to do better.
Yeah.
And that's the difference is like, we're logical. We want people, when we criticize them, to do better, not to just go away and die. The left, if they criticize you and you even apologize to them, they fucking hit you even fucking harder because they're not seeking reconciliation.
Yeah.
They're not seeking an apology.
No.
They're seeking your fucking destruction.
They want to win.
They want to win and
play to win.
destroy you.
That's exactly
And
right.
they see that weakness
That's exactly
and they
right.
hit harder.
And you know what they said? And you know what they said when they... So RFK, this fucking guy, he has been staking out all kinds of positions, right? All over the fucking
He's
place.
all
You don't
over,
know what he stands for. And when he does that, he keeps his toe in the door, right, of the enemy of the position that he's taking, just in case it doesn't work out.
Huh.
He fucking was running back and forth. He ran to Kamala saying, let me get an administrative role.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
Give me an administrative role. I'll endorse you. No? Okay. We run back to Trump again. He's running back and forth like a little fucking dog. And
Well, okay, here, to be fair, if he wants to try and get in with Kamala and her administration, it's probably to steer it in a better direction than it's going in.
you're too nice.
And well, I'm just saying, like, that was probably his intention. He probably wants to bring attention to, like, the childhood obesity. You know, we got this trans, thing going on. He talks about atrazine, that's a chemical that's getting in all our drinking water. Supposedly, it creates gender confusion.
You know what he can do? Write a fucking book.
No,
write a fucking book,
He
right?
can be a public servant.
Write a fucking book.
He can be a public servant.
He can be a servant.
He wrote a book. He can't read it. The print's so small, he can't read it.
Is that what happened? Well, he goes on
The
Joe
point is,
Rogan.
like what you said, the left plays to fucking win.
Exactly.
They don't want any weak links in their chain of tiny tyrant fucking clowns. Like they don't want any weak links. They told him
They don't want him.
He ran to Trump because they said we don't fucking want you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We don't fucking want you because you don't believe what we believe. Go fuck yourself. So he goes He runs to Trump with his tail between his fucking legs because he wants to be relevant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe he wants to make change. I mean, look, I don't back the guy, but I mean, I think he's trying to do some righteous things. He gave like his speech where he said that he was stepping out, and it was filled with some good stuff. He did make some good points,
I know,
Tony?
but he's not stepping out though. He's going to Trump, but he's not dropping out of all the states.
He's saying now, because he's joining Trump, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's now saying he's like speaking for Trump. He's almost like stepped out in front of Trump.
Yeah.
He's saying, it's almost like he's taken over. He's saying, we are building the unity party. He is now saying, if you think I was a big deal, just wait till you see who's joining him next. So Trump already, listen, the swamp, he already had the swamp around him. And that's what sunk him the last time. Yeah, the cheating and all that too. But I've talked about this every time, surrounded himself with fucking traitors. Now he's got RFK in the fucking door. Are you fucking kidding me? RFK, a liberal Democrat.
Okay, but they weren't probably really part of the swamp if his family members got whacked, right?
His family members got whacked.
RFK's family members got whacked.
Maybe because they were too liberal.
No, I think they weren't part of the establishment.
Okay, whatever.
And they tried to take Trump out too.
It's a different time.
So long ago.
But they were whacking everybody back then, right?
Yeah, of course.
Everyone was getting whacked.
CIA took them
yeah,
on.
and the mob was powerful at that time.
Yes.
Extremely powerful.
Still are.
They're just a tool,
but they had their hands in everything.
The mob is still powerful.
And I still think that the mob whacked JFK. But we'll go into that some other time. But
the mob is still very powerful. especially in this room. So
Which mob? Which mob though whacked
So-
JFK? That's
whatever,
the question.
whichever.
And we'll talk about that some other time. But
There's several mobs.
the problem is that now Trump is letting these people and these snakes slither in the fucking door, and the swamp is going to turn to quicksand. Like you're gonna see the party, and you're gonna see this movement fucking disappear. It's gonna disappear faster. Blink your fucking eye, it's gonna be gone. And the reason, and I say this all the time.
What do you mean gone? What do you mean?
You're not gonna recognize it. And the
You mean
whole,
it's not going to be the Republican Party,
you
or
call
what?
it MAGA, right?
Yeah.
I don't like saying that, but MAGA, whatever, it's fine. I'm about patriots first, and I'm not about a man. But Trump has been the person carrying the mantle because people have empowered him on our side to carry it. And I don't believe that he's got conviction and principle. I don't think the things that he says he really believes half the time. I think he sees opportunity, and that's fine because as long as he's saying what we want him to say, he's still our guy, right? And we still have to back him. But I think that when you have someone like that in position, they're vulnerable to people like RFK and guys like him to find their way through the back door and poison the fucking well and sink the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
And when RFK is running around saying, you haven't seen anything yet, wait till you see who's joining the party next. The unity fucking party. Since when did we call it? Listen, he should have kicked his ass out and said, you know what, we've looked at your background. You do not meet the standards of our party, of whatever it is that we are preaching. We don't want you.
Yeah.
Because, and you may say, well, you know what, let people in, it strengthens us. But when you fucking lead, you have to lead based on principle, and even if it means twisting arms and dragging people with you, that's what you have to do.
Well, like the latest issue is the abortion thing. Trump, I guess, J.D. Vance signaled that Trump would go soft on the abortion, basically. Like, if it became like up for becoming a federal ban on abortion, Trump would veto that. So we're going to be a nation that kills babies, I guess, still. And that's not a good way to get God's favor.
We've been doing that for a long time.
And I want to get to that because, when you and people think like if RFK joins Trump, we're going to get all these votes back. But you know what? Listen, 87% to 10%. Think about the liberals for Kamala right now.
Yeah.
87% of liberals will vote for her, and 10% won't. 87%. Think about that. That's just liberals. That's not the extreme left.
Yeah.
Then you have on our side, 76% of conservatives will vote for Trump and 90% won't. So why does everybody think that all these people that supported RFK are going to run to fucking Trump?
Yeah,
How do you know
there's
that?
no guarantee of that
How
at
do
all.
you fucking know? Yeah.
They don't
How
know.
do you know
No
that?
one knows
Did you know 200 staffers that worked for Romney, McCain, and Bush? 200? 200!
Yeah.
Think about the people, those 200 people, because they were in prominent positions.
Did what? What they
Think
do?
about how many people they represent. That's just 200 people.
Yeah.
But how many thousands or millions do they
They're
represent?
behind him. Yeah.
They wrote an open letter of support for Kamala. Fucking traitors.
That's no surprise.
Every one of them.
I remember when I was idealistic. I remember when I was in my 20s, I joined the Young Republicans, and I thought, oh, cool, I'm going to make a difference. I was in there a fucking week, and I said, these guys are traitors, all of them.
Yeah.
They're all fucking soft. They're all fucking weak. I remember walking out the back door saying, fuck them.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
just
you
it's
can
the
see
same
it then.
thing. I've been seeing it for the last 7 years too. The young Republicans, they've been thoroughly co-opted, thoroughly steered, And what you say about like Romney's people,
Well,
supporting Kamala, that makes sense.
yeah.
I get it.
We're
Yeah.
never anybody been a big fan of Romney, McCain, the Bushes. Anybody?
Well, they're relevant now.
I never voted for Romney or McCain or any Bushes,
Watch out.
and I am quite pleased with myself that I didn't. I voted for Ross Perot because he seemed to be wanting to put America first,
He was the first Trump.
and I voted for Donald
Sort of, right.
Trump.
He was the first Trump.
But the thing is, like, even George Bush Sr., I remember I got the screenshot. He says Donald Trump's a blowhard, and I voted for Hillary.
Oh,
What a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I am so glad I didn't vote for that guy. I'm so glad I didn't vote for George Bush Sr. Because these people are traitors. They're turncoats.
Yeah.
Rhino's not enough. They got a new term, Tony. It's Republicans against Trump. Rat.
I was going to get to rats in a minute. Yeah, rats.
Republicans
They're
against
fucking
Trump.
Rats. I love that.
It's rat.
Rats.
Plain and simple.
are.
Fucking rats everywhere,
That's good.
and they're scurrying all over the place. Trump, though, I have a problem with. He's now saying, like you said, he's now saying, we are going to be. He's almost signaling that he's going to take a stand against the pro-life movement. He's not. I wouldn't say stand against, but he's not supporting it the way he presented himself early on. He's now, like you said, he will not sign a federal ban. I mean, why does
He'll
he
veto it?
And even if he feels that way, don't fucking say it.
Yeah.
Like, why do you feel the need to say it? And why are you now saying that your administration, quote, is going to be great for women and their reproductive rights? We know what reproductive rights mean.
Killing
It
babies.
should mean the reproductive right to have a baby,
All right.
but it's
But
the
it's
opposite.
backwards.
But it
yeah.
means the right to like
'Cause they're
To kill a
destroy.
baby.
Yeah. And now he's saying he's going to give green cards to illegal aliens as long as they graduate from American colleges. He's had private meetings with corporations saying, "I'm going to help you fill your jobs."
With illegal aliens.
It's fucking.
He's becoming
So-
everything he railed against and defeated in 2016.
A
So-
bullet whizzed by his ear, and he got weak, and it
Yeah.
became the unity government.
It feels like he's giving into terrorism because he's showing them, hey, your near miss and near attempt on my life made me change the way I'm thinking. And that's what they want.
Well, he started before the DNC even fucking started. He gave a speech where he was praising the Obamas. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
He was
but
praising the Obamas,
I find
Which is
it
a
hard
John
to believe.
McCain
saying
thing.
that he fucking respected them. And you know what they did in return?
Yeah,
they went
they
up there and fucking
knifed
ripped him.
They knifed
And they didn't care that he got fucking shot. And that DNC was an abortion festival.
Yes.
That's all it was. And I'd like to know, and Kamala is all she is a reincarnation of Obama.
Yes.
It's Obama in a fucking dress.
I mean, he was a better talker, though.
It's Obama in a dress.
Yeah.
He was a smooth guy. You got to give him that. He was a smooth talker. She has not done
He's a
one
mini-
interview.
He's a mini Antichrist.
But
She is the most shallow candidate, I think, in history. She's the most empty-suited candidate in the history of America.
You got to clarify.
She only
Empty pantsuited.
pantsuited. She's only there because she's a slut. We talked about this. Okay, she slept her way to the top. And I like
Well-
how Thomas is nodding his head yes.
Willie Brown. Oh.
And you wouldn't know what John's doing. But she, I'd like to know, that thing was so abortion-oriented.
Yes.
I wonder how many abortions she's had. She doesn't have any kids.
She has.
Somebody
many
should ask
kids.
her, how many abortions have you fucking had?
I don't think her sister has any either, does she?
I'd like to fucking know.
So the abortions probably like made her infertile.
I would assume that she's had them. I mean, she slept around a lot.
Yeah.
She was with Montel Williams. She was with
Yeah.
Downtown Willie Brown. She got around. But even now, speaking of abortion, Planned Parenthood, which they push constantly. Do you know Planned Parenthood right now? Planned fucking Parenthood right now is the biggest distributor of testosterone. Did you know
I
that?
had no
For
idea.
the trannies or
For the
what?
trannies.
Oh,
Think
man.
about that. They fucking hate men. They hate men. You know that. The whole movement, they hate toxic masculinity. They hate men.
Yeah.
But they can't wait to turn fucking women into men.
So they're turning women not into men, but into things that can't ever have a child.
So-called men, yeah. So
they can never have a child.
So they're as long as their experiment is against God, they can
Yeah.
taunt and mock God, right, and destroy the family, and destroy the church, and create these Frankensteins.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I mean, Tony.
Real men they hate.
That's
Honestly,
true.
Tony, I got to be honest. The way things have gone and where they've gone in this country, I wouldn't blame God for wiping us out.
I feel the same way.
I wouldn't blame him.
I feel the same way.
I hope I get some mercy. I hope my family. I hope
Yeah.
we get some mercy. Maybe the country as a whole gets mercy. But I mean, if I were God, I think I would have wiped us out.
I agree.
I want to point out a
I'm
transition we just made here.
Yeah.
Kim got rid of the lawyer glasses.
I know. I can't be a lawyer. I can't be.
He
really.
put on the Gucci's.
They're too corrupt.
I'm feeling a lot better right now.
I want to be more, me.
You know, and the DNC is so racist too. I mean, you think about how they're doing polling, and they say that when what's her fucking name,
Mike?
Kamala runs against Trump, if they don't mention, when they do polling, if they don't mention race or gender, the polling is even, or even Trump's ahead.
Yeah.
The minute they mention gender or race, she pulls
clears.
ahead.
Yeah.
And you think about Michael Obama. He's a tranny, right? Michelle Obama's a tranny. Don't you think?
Big
I
Mike?
think so.
Yeah, don't you think?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm going with
He
what's
looks
her
like
name?
a man. And
His back is real big.
His back is big. He's got too many teeth in his mouth. But when he speaks, if you watch him speak, well, seriously, watch his teeth. It's like crowded. But anyway,
Who was the comedian that said that? What's her? Joan Rivers. I'm going with what she says.
what did you say?
She said he was a tranny.
And then she mysteriously. And then
About who?
Joan Rivers.
she literally
Big
said
Mike.
that. You didn't know
That's
that?
awesome. Not internet.
No, this is
Rest
like
in peace.
she died a couple weeks later.
Yeah.
Really?
On the opera. Yeah, she's like, oh, Michelle Obama's a man.
everybody
Everybody
knows
knows
it,
it. Everybody in
yeah.
Hollywood. We all know it.
Her
Get
daughter's
over
even.
it. Move on.
Yeah.
It's no big deal. And then she dies on an operating table for some plastic surgery like a week
Yeah,
later.
minor event.
Did you know that bitch, Michelle Obama, Michael Obama, that dude? Do you know that he fucking said, at the DNC, got up on stage
Yeah.
after his husband, Barack Obama, and he said,
Bunch of angry shit.
racist as hell, he said, Trump is seeking one of those black jobs.
Oh,
Calling
yeah, I heard
the
that.
presidency now a black job. And you see the camera pan the audience and all these dumb fucking white people. Oh, yay, yay. It's like you're just cutting your own fucking throat. These people have so much white guilt.
Yes.
This person is telling you that you can't even run for the job anymore.
They've been
Because
And
you're
programmed.
white.
and you're fucking applauding.
Yeah.
Well, Tony, to be honest, the Republican Party is not too much better because they've been pandering again to the same people. Highest jobs for the blacks, African Americans, highest job in employment, lowest unemployment history. Or, they always talk about blacks and Latinos or Hispanics. But the thing is this. Why not become an ally to white Americans? We're left out. And I think that maybe every person does well under the America that was basically founded by whites. It was, right? It
Yeah.
was settled.
Yeah,
It was formed.
absolutely.
It was created.
Yes.
And everything.
Yeah.
I often use this analogy. I'm Italian. I don't have an ounce of Anglo-English blood in me. But I like it here. I like what the founding fathers of this country did.
But as an Italian, you are Caucasian.
I'm
Yes, you're
Caucasian. I'm
Not
Christian.
Anglo. but
I'm
you're
Christian. But what I'm saying is, I'm Italian. I'm different than the founding fathers, but I still can relate enough. But I still can also appreciate, even though I can't say that I'm like a person from New England or
I know.
whatever.
Like his family.
Yeah.
His half the family, is on the fucking Mayflower.
Yeah.
How crazy is that? But you had 20,000 traitors in that fucking building, the United Center, during the fucking DNC. That rat trap. You call it rats? They were all rats.
Well,
and
no,
you know what?
They're not the rat, because you talking about Republicans?
No. At the DNC, the 20,000 people that are in there,
So to be
the
a rat,
DNC
you gotta
Democrats.
You
They're
got to
all
be a Republican against Trump.
I understand, but they're still rats. They're all Democrats, call
They're
themselves
gats.
Americans. They hate their country. They're fucking traitors. That was a great chance to swoop in and arrest them all.
Yes.
And arrest
All in
them
one
all
spot.
and put them into
You had 'em all there.
and put them into re-education camps.
Yes.
Who's going to?
And you know what? And if they're not re-educated, if they're not willing to be re-educated and pledge allegiance to this country and to the flag, execution camps. It's the only way to save this country.
That's why they kept calling Trump right from the beginning a dictator, because they knew, as you just said, it's the only way to save this country.
It is.
They knew that he's going to.
No, I'm saying we'll give him a chance.
But
Yeah.
I'm
Give him a
saying
chance.
back in
Want to be
2016,
re-educated? We'll give him a
reform.
chance.
2016, they were talking about him, referencing him to a certain Austrian painter from.
Yeah, I know.
They kept trying to say things about him,
Yeah.
And comparisons and all this crap, because they knew that if he came into office, he started making strong power moves, then they could point the finger and say, see, we told you. But it took power moves to stop and break up this deep state. And he then got he got his hands tied. And he was always trying to prove that he's not a dictator.
Yeah.
He's not. He's not a dictator, but he should have made stronger moves. He should have declared an insurrection when they were funding all these fuckers to fucking riot and burn down cities. And he should have put out the Marines who they answered to him, and he should have then done what you said. He should have been heavy-handed. And if anybody complained, then they get arrested too.
Let the standoff happen.
They did that to us.
Listen, and then you have all the traitors, the real traitors, the Republican turncoats that went to that DNC and spoke.
Those
you
are
had
the rats.
a lot of those fucking guys.
Yeah.
And I think to myself, there should be a new policy. Like, if somebody's running for office, for any type of, even a staffer job, administrative job, a role in a high-profile job, such as a government job, anybody that's applying for a job in the government, high-profile, it could be staffer, administrator, or the politician himself. You need to come here first.
That's right.
And we will put you through the what? The Roman what?
The Roman Inquisition.
The Roman Inquisition. He came up with this, which I love.
Because they always hate the Spanish Inquisition.
The Roman Inquisition.
Yeah. How do you like the Roman Inquisition?
The Roman Inquisition will sit him at this fucking bar, and we can sniff him out in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Sit him here. We'll fucking put him through the gauntlet, and we will then say yes or no.
Yeah.
And
the ones that are marginal, we can put them through re-education.
The ones that are marginal, we'll pull them out, put them through the re-education camp at Basilicos. Yeah. But point is that these traitors that go to the DNC that act like they're conservatives, act like they're Republicans, like the 200 people, the 200 staffers I talked about, they need to, even the ones that come through here that fail, they need to be branded on their forehead with the letter E. And you know what the letter E stands for? Eunuch.
No.
Fucking eunuch. You have no fucking balls. Okay? Eunuch. And you have a bunch of men walk. I guarantee you, if a bunch of men are walking around with the letter E on their forehead, things might change real quick. You know?
I agree.
Right?
Well, it was funny. They had this comedian guy, I think. And he was going around the DNC, whatever it was, their convention. And he's interviewing people. He's kind of acting a little gay and acting fun. And he's talking to this gal. And he's asking her questions about, like, what kind of guy she likes. And she says, really, the Democrats in Washington, D.C., because that's where she's from, she said, they're not really good looking. There's really no good looking Democrats.
Yeah, I heard about this.
And then,
it's true.
And he said, so what? You got to get Republican guys? She said, yeah, but they're just so evil.
Oh, my God.
Right? But she's like saying that Republican men are more handsome. They look better. They're better.
If you watch the DNC, I saw clips of it. Everyone looks like a reject.
Yeah.
Everyone looks homely, right?
The women in particular. Yeah.
They look shabby.
Yeah.
You could put a Republican next to a conservative next to a liberal and just ask you, like, you can just tell.
You can just tell by looking at them.
So they look tired. They look worn out. They look depressed. They have no energy. They look older than they are.
Yeah.
They look like they don't have any love in their lives.
They just gave up.
They just gave up. It's just it's just so obvious, yeah.
Yeah.
But and when you speak about eunuchs, the guy that's going to be leading the charge if that Kamala bitch gets elected is her husband. What's his name?
I don't know.
Emhoff?
Emhoff,
Something
yeah.
Emhoff?
I don't know his first name.
He is saying that his primary role is going to be speaking out against male toxicity.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
He says there's too much of it in America, and he wants to set a different example. He already is by being first man or first gentleman. What do they call him?
Well, now he's the second gentleman or whatever.
Second gentleman.
Yeah.
But he'll be first, right?
He'll be the
she got
first
elected,
gentleman.
he'll be first.
So,
What are you gonna say? You want to say something about
I can't. I got no words.
it? You got no words.
I know, but we believe the exact opposite of that. There's not enough manliness in this.
Yeah, and if you want to elect someone like her, you're going to end up with things like this kid in Massachusetts, 12-year-old boy named Danny Doherty. Kid opens an ice cream shop.
Yes,
You heard about
that.
this?
Yeah,
Massachusetts,
I read about this.
on the street. He opens
raise-
a stand
to raise
ice cream
money for
stand.
charity or
raise
something, right?
money for his brother's handicap hockey team.
Yeah.
Called the Boston Bears Club. His brother has autism. He wants to raise money for the team and to help out charity. His mom's help, and this the city or the town, the county, I forget.
Yeah, it's
they
Massachusetts
issue him
somewhere,
a
right?
health code letter saying we got to shut you down.
Yeah.
Right. And I think to myself, where were the neighbors? Like, why didn't they protest by having 1,000 people standing in line buying chocolate ice cream from him, or whatever ice cream he was selling? I forget what it was, but instead they backed down. They closed shop. I think they found another way. But it makes me think about all these stands that they're opening in California. Have you seen this?
Yeah. I mean, you find them everywhere around us, especially.
They are now
every
opening.
corner.
Yeah, if you're an illegal immigrant, illegal alien, and you come here and you want to start a
On the
business
sidewalk.
tomorrow,
Buy a food truck.
right fucking
Not
now,
even.
fuck
We're
the
not
food
even doing
truck.
that.
You want to set up a tent on the side of the road and start cooking. They have these, I don't know, slabs of some kind of meat. I don't know what it is, and they start carving it up, tortillas. They start serving it, and there's no health code permits. There's nothing. They just open up. I see them opening them up right in front of.
No property tax.
No property tax.
No rent.
No license.
Yeah.
No.
No overhead, really.
No overhead at all. No insurance. Right. No, like you said, no tax. No sales tax. No employment tax. No workers' comp. No nothing. And I see them opening them up right in front of legitimate taco restaurants that have invested everything they have into opening a physical brick and mortar store. They're untouchable. Why? Because if you give them any trouble, you're a what? You're a fucking racist.
You're a racist.
You're
Yeah.
a fucking racist.
You know, Tony, I think
It's happening right across the street
Well,
from us.
I saw one down in Mission Viejo. I saw them setting up shop,
They're-
and before they were even done setting up their fucking tent,
They're-
I went right at them, made sure they shut that fucking thing down, packed their shit up, and left. What?
they're trying to drive out small businesses, drive them out of business, so that I think this is my theory, is that then they can have big chains, like all these big time restaurants that are national, because they're easier to control. So next time they try to pull some shit about you can't eat here for whatever, you name the reason. We think there's a pandemic, or we think that we think that your social credit score is poor, or we think that you vote the wrong way, or whatever the fucking reason is they want to assert. When they have chains, they can make a uniform policy. They can't control small businesses like you. They can't control small business like that taco stand that got driven out of business by some food vendor on the sidewalk in front of him. And then once they drive all these small to medium businesses out of business, then they'll get rid of those little taco vendors on the sidewalk
Maybe,
too.
but if you go in LA, he and I drove through Long Beach,
Yeah, it's terrible.
and it was lit. The whole street was littered with tents selling meat and tacos and burritos and all kinds of
No
stuff. And I
permits,
remember this one
nothing.
woman stopped me. I was walking into a bank. I had to stop at a bank. I'm walking in the fucking bank, and the lady is trying to sell me churros right at the door. And I said, "Do you have spaghetti and meatballs?" And she said, "What?" I said, "Spaghetti and meatballs. Do you have that?"
Yeah.
She of course said no, but yeah, it was. Do you remember you walk
yeah.
out of the bank and you get harassed about, "Hey, do you want to buy a mango? Or
Yeah.
do you want to buy shaved ice or whatever the hell that they were selling?"
Yeah.
It was literally
Taking
like,
business away from legitimate business owners.
well, they're turning these legitimate towns into Tijuana,
Exactly.
and that's the fucking problem. They need to bring big giant bulldozers and just drive on the sidewalk and bulldoze
all out.
all these fucking tents, all of them, and I'll drive the fucking bulldozer. I think, and because if you see these once beautiful cities that are turning into third world towns, it's a disgrace.
As bad as it is here in Orange County, it's way worse in Los Angeles.
Well, like we're in
It's
Long Beach, and we saw it, and you could see tents as far
Everywhere.
as the eye can see. But the problem is that you have young people don't give a fuck. Think about this. Think about like even freedom, the concept of freedom. Young people, think about the symbol of freedom when you're about 16 years old. think about what it was. It was the one thing that represented freedom to a 16-year-old more than anything else was. Can you guess?
For me, it was getting my driver's license.
Driver's license.
And
Bang.
being on the road.
How smart is this guy? Driver's license.
Now
Right?
cars are bad.
Having a driver's license at 16 was freedom.
It's amazing.
You could drive anywhere. Now, kids don't even want their driver's license. They don't want, because they would rather ask their mommy, daddy drive them around, a friend to drive them around, Uber around.
Uber.
They got all those electric bikes, though. I like that. Those electric bikes speeding down the road. That's freedom. I wish I had
I
that.
guess.
Scooter,
but,
maybe.
But would you rather have a car?
Well, yeah, but I mean, I started out on a scooter.
I got my license the day I turned 16.
Same.
I got my license the day I turned 15 and a half.
I don't even know how the fuck I passed. Yeah. I
I
don't remember.
had a motorcycle license at 15 and a half.
Yeah.
You don't need to have a passenger.
Yeah.
And I could drive around. And so I had a scooter.
Remember your driver's test?
Huh?
I was in a station wagon.
Station wagon, yeah.
Station wagon?
Yeah.
I don't know how I fucking passed, but
I had to do that, the parallel parking, and I passed it first time.
I remember driving away going, they gave me a fucking license? Are they crazy? Yeah, so kids don't give a shit. Parents need to tell their kids, let me tell you something. If you don't have your fucking license by 16, you cannot use Uber.
Yeah.
We aren't driving you fucking anywhere. Get your license, and then maybe we can talk about it. Yeah. But until that happens, no fucking dice. Not happening.
Yeah, so for all the parents out there that might be listening in, if your kids are not getting their driver's license at 16, you got a big problem with these kids.
Yeah, well, it's just setting the tone for the rest of their lives. And no wonder in, I don't know if you heard about this too, Massachusetts again. I don't know what's wrong with that fucking state.
Yeah.
Massachusetts.
The Kennedys are from Massachusetts.
Well, there you go. It's in the DNA. But you have people now in Massachusetts that are voluntarily locking down. Have you guys heard about this?
Yeah, I read that today.
The people now are so conditioned over the lockdowns. The lockdowns have caused so much damage and brainwashing that people are so conditioned now to lock down themselves. In Massachusetts, I think there's 4 towns.
They've been crate trained.
Crate trained. Yeah, like a dog. Yeah. Or a cat.
Dog.
Voluntarily locking themselves down because of what? A fucking mosquito.
Oh no, there was only one person.
One fucking case. You see that? One case. They're locking themselves down, and they're prohibiting people. They have a curfew where everyone's got to be in their house by 5 p.m. No, by 6 p.m. And in October by 5 p.m. No outdoor sports, no nothing. You can't use the fields. And if you use anything, if you go in public, you have to show proof of insurance, your papers, all right? Show your fucking papers. Like Soviet Union, back to the lockdowns. You have to show your proof of insurance or a letter of indemnification. And it's like, why aren't these people fighting back? Why don't the protesters, instead of going to the city council or going wherever and saying, look, you're the overlords. Please, please, please let us still play on the field. No. Instead, you should show up at night at the city council or whoever runs these towns. Show up at their properties. Show up at their homes.
Yeah.
Park your cars. In the old days, they parked their cars. They turned the headlights on, and you play football in the lights. Yeah. So do it in the front yards.
Yeah.
Do it in the front yards. Put your cleats on, rip their yards up, play all night, and they'll get the picture.
It's a sign of defiance. It's defiance. That's what works.
We went to the Board of Supervisors' houses, or different people, to protest back in 2020, and that got all their panties in a bunch. And I'm talking about men and women.
Yeah.
They got their panties in a bunch. But you have a right to protest. You have a right to go to a public sidewalk, no matter where they live. They have to live with us. And they have to know that if we're not happy, they can hear it. That's freedom.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But the big problem, too, is that you're bringing in these foreigners, foreign-born people now that are judges. I heard today, drives me fucking nuts, this Indian-born judge, I think, he sentenced one of the Oath Keepers to 18, did you see this?
No.
18 fucking years.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking seeing foreign-born judges come here.
Yeah,
or anybody running the government, a foreign-born, come here and then tell us how to live as free American men and women.
Yeah.
You should have to be American-born to be a judge in this fucking country. Period. And especially when it comes to J6 cases. I'm hearing about Trump now. Did you hear that they're having the J6 Awards? You hear about the J6 Awards? They're having the J6 Awards at Trump's private golf club at Bedminster.
Which
he owns it.
Yeah.
It's his fucking club, right?
It's in New Jersey. Yeah.
Yeah. J6 Awards. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
You should be there, and you should win the top award. But the
I got no invite.
Yeah. Well, listen to this.
It's a fundraiser for J6 defendants.
It's a fundraiser. So you look at it, and the invitation says, invited guest Donald Trump. And the word has it, Donald Trump's not going to even fucking go.
No.
At his golf club. Wait, first of all, invited guest. It's your fucking house. That's your place. So he's not going to show. If you don't show up at that, then you, and if you don't start fucking fundraising for these people, these J6 people that are in prison, I don't want to hear about any of these conservative politicians raising money for their campaigns. They should only be raising money for one thing. We already know who they fucking are. They don't need to have advertisements. We know where they stand. We know their positions. Stop with all that nonsense.
Yeah.
Raise money for the J6ers to get them out. To create legal defense. To create an army to go in there, rescue them, and extract them and pull them out.
Yeah.
And then to hold every one of those prosecutors and judges accountable.
Yeah.
And if it comes down to it, you find them guilty, execution. Period. They are the ones that committed treason. And if Trump doesn't do these things, then he does not have the moral high ground to send men into battle as a chief executive.
No.
He doesn't. How can you do it in good conscience if you're not even supporting the men that have already gone into battle for you?
Yeah.
And are held prisoners of war.
He's trying to create more peace. He's trying to create peace.
Unity?
I mean, I know you got to go hard on some things. He's probably just trying to make it go away as painless as possible. And I don't know, I think he still likes us as J6ers.
Is that enough for you?
Is it?
You know, Tony,
just to be liked?
Trump isn't the person that, like, I went to January 6th for. I went to January 6th for my country. My country. It's not about Trump. It's about a principle. It's about a right to let your voice be heard and speak truth. Yeah. As they say, speak truth to power. I spoke truth to power.
And he was the president at that time.
You know.
And all I saw there were people carrying flags that said Trump.
Yeah.
More than American flags. There are more Trump flags, I think. So you can spin it any way you want.
I may have missed it, but in the last 3.5 years, I haven't seen Trump do much for J6.
I haven't either.
People,
and it's a problem. It's a problem for me. And you were saying
here's a chance for him to do, and he's not doing anything.
Yeah, and you were saying that you have emotion. You were saying something about emotion.
Oh yeah, I got emotion. So, getting back to what's happening on Wednesday.
Yep.
8 a.m.
Like probably 30-something hours from now.
Yep.
So, because my court-appointed attorney is obligated by law, if I tell her I think that you can't represent me and there's a conflict of interest and you shouldn't be on my case, she's forced to file a motion for her own withdrawal and cite reasons. And she did. She did that. And the judge is going to decide whether it's good. And he's going to grant it. And so I did this on Friday. This is like several pages, lots of pages. I did this. Maybe I should put my glasses back on.
That's lawyer work right there.
Here's my reading
put the
glasses.
lawyer glasses back on.
These are my reading glasses.
That's being a lawyer.
So this is what I filed. This is a declaration of Kim Surgente, United States of America plaintiff, Kim Michael Surgente defendant. This is what I filed. And I did that on Friday. And
so impressive, man.
We'll know in about 30 hours whether or not, I combed through documents on Friday, put supporting documents, and I sent this to my, on her way out court-appointed attorney and said, include this, please file it in support of the motion. And so she's either going to do it or she's going to prove that she's ineffective assistance of counsel, like I said. So I have a right to have a voice, especially when it's questioning me as to whether or not I'm going to keep this attorney. We'll know on Wednesday, and we'll probably let everybody know after that. But I'm looking forward to the judge doing the right thing. I'm looking forward to the system working correctly. But sometimes you got to really make it apparent how it's supposed to work in order for it to work correctly. Yeah. So that's why I let my voice be heard. I filed this, and as you can see, it's lots of pages. But
And you did that on your own.
I did on my own.
Filing against the federal government.
Well,
Pretty
you know,
amazing. You should be proud of that.
They're keeping me away from the system, but I'm finding my way back into
You should
it.
be proud, man. You should be proud. And
Yeah.
that's
awesome.
what we're doing here. That's what this is all about, is honoring fighters, right? Our fellow fighters.
Yeah.
That's what we do here. I was thinking a lot about Aaron Babbitt, the husband of Ashley Babbitt, our friend.
Yeah.
Aaron.
I always remember when we sang "Happy Birthday" to Ashley on that
Yes.
particular day. We had this men's night here, and it
Yeah, it
happened
was
to be her birthday.
It was like a year. What is it? A year after.
And,
Yeah.
and
Murder
we
at the
sang
Capitol.
"Happy Birthday" to
You
Ashley.
did, yeah, and you led the way on that.
But we
And-
had like 50-something men sing "Happy Birthday" to her,
and
Aaron was
Well,
very moved and touched by it,
yeah.
and he thanked me.
and Aaron is working 24/7, trying to hold the government accountable and the murderer that
Right.
killed her accountable. And I think he's got a big court date coming up on 20th, where he's trying to move the venue. Of course, the government wants the venue to be in D.C. Of course,
He
wants to
filed
move
in
to
San Diego where
they live.
and
Exactly.
that whoever the judge or the prosecutor moved it back to Washington D.C., which is not favorable to him.
Yeah.
He has every right to file
Yeah.
that
Where he's
motion
at.
Yeah.
in
So-
San Diego where he lives and where
Well,
she
he's
lives.
going to come here and talk about the case and talk about his experience once it's it's
Yeah.
over. He's busy. He moved back to Boston. He's
Yeah.
there for a little while, but he'll be back. And
He's-
he'll be talking to us.
He's got help from a good group too. Those
Yeah.
guys at Judicial Watch, I think, are helping him in their
Yeah,
first class. So
yeah. But there's a lot going on, man, and it seems like every week, the things to talk about just grows and grows and grows.
yes,
But we have to hold everybody accountable, meaning even Trump have to hold his feet to the fire. We have to make sure he meets the standard. There's a standard of fighting we always talk about, and if you're not meeting the standard, then you might as well not even fight.
yeah.
So I got this cigar. It's another cigar that I got from somebody that gave it to me as a gift. This is called the Prensado. This cigar here is a Honduran cigar. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
If you smell the tip of it, it smells like chocolate. And if you light it and you walk into a room, people will think that somebody's making hot chocolate.
That's awesome.
But it's got notes of coffee and actually roasted red pepper, which is
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
They call this a gentleman's cigar. It's handmade, like I said, Honduran wrapper, Honduran Nicaraguan filler.
hmm
It's a nice cigar, but so I want to share this with everybody, and I'll smoke it soon. Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you, Tony.
It was a good night.
Always
It's a good night. It's getting late.
another very fun evening.
Yeah.
Another wonderful sit down.
Yeah.
Good hanging out. Always.
Yeah. Time flies, huh? Time flies.
Time flies when you're having fun.
It does. So appreciate you picking up on that story when I walked in about Trader Joe's.
Oh yeah.
Thank you
It
for
only,
sharing that.
it only took 3 tries to get it out. But
You know, I had to get it off my chest.
And I'll see you. I'll see you Wednesday morning.
God willing.
God willing.
Yes.
All right, guys.
All right, brother.
Good to see you. Thanks.
Drive
Thanks,
safely.
Okay.
All right.
So 3 tries. 3's a charm.
It's a good story, though.
I mean, it's just a social commentary.
Well, we know a lot more about that guy from Trader Joe's. He is a traitor.
Well, I mean, he's not doing his job. He's just trying to use his position to talk to gals that don't want to talk to him.
That's right.